Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker and welcome to show and tell number 187. So I hope you guys are having a fabulous, wonderful day. I'm trying to make sure my clicker turns on. So this new phone has like magic things where I can wave my hand and it'll start the video, but I'm not sure how to stop it because I didn't know I could do this. So I need to make sure I have the clicker to turn the video off when I'm done talking. Hopefully, I know I say this every week, but hopefully this will be a little bit shorter of a video. I am filming a day in advance. We are having a quite peaceful week. However, a lot of crafting has not gotten done. Like, there's been crafting, but nothing really to show for it. I mean, it's going to look like a decent amount of stuff, but once again, my Poly Studio personalized mug with some old coffee from this morning that I threw some warmed up milk and milk foam into to make a faux latte. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, I need help, guys. Send help. Probably not more coffee, although that's probably what I really want the most. This morning I was up at 4. I got a whole bunch of stuff done. So after I ate brunch, I went ahead and laid down and took a nap. So now I'm in like wave 2. Like, I'm half perky, half tired, and my brain and body are not communicating very well with each other. That's what's really going on right now. But anyway, I have one more square finish that I can put into this blanket. And this is the current one I'm working on. I don't know what I was going on with. I was only going to have like one missing square. I don't know if any of y'all caught on to that. I actually have 1 row plus 1 square. So 5 squares I need to make to finish this blanket if it's going to be 4 by 5, which we have 4. 4. Do, 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 do. And then 3. So like I said last week, this is just going to be a little lap throw. These corner to corner squares are 5 row corner to corners with a size I hook using worsted weight scraps. I did a whole bunch of these in 2022 and have been continuing on in 2023 with the intention to make scrap blankets. And now it's time to start joining these. I'm almost done with my corner to corner squares of this style. I think I've now made 3 blankets using these, and this one is my half and halves. Next up will be probably my solids. And I'm joining these up as far as I can go. And then when I make the next block, I can join them in. I think what I'm going to do is every like 10 to 15 blocks I make, I'll pull out the bag that I'm storing these in. So these are in one of those blanket bags that I showed you guys in one of my Taming the Stash that I used to put up a whole bunch of projects. But we have progress. I did a thing on this. Yeah. That's good. Before I forget, because I started to film this, then went off on a tirade and was like, no, we're not putting that in the video. So this is actually my second time starting filming this video. On Saturday, we will have the review of the Annie's Love to Knit / Hook and Needle Club, because now everything's in the Hook and Needle Club. I imagine where you guys know this is going to go, but I did go ahead and get the 3rd month. I have canceled it. We do have Q3's kit already ready on the docket, ready to be ordered. We will have some fun stuff with my ALC and Yarnable unboxings at the end of the month. So be prepared. Oh, lipstick. Just in case I drink so much coffee in between my 2 videos, I can reapply. Sometimes I think ahead. I made progress on my sweater. So I don't think I was up here. I think I was like right here when I showed this to you guys last week. So I still need a good 4 to 6 inches. This is my last ball of yarn. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot gone, but there's a substantial amount gone. The problem is I'm now to the point where I'm just doing double crochets. Maybe I will remember to edit in the picture here of me trying this on. It does appear a little snug, especially over a tank top, but keep in mind when this is blocked out, I will be able to more aptly shape the width. There is a ton of give in the width of this, and part of it is where I said it feels like this yarn has sizing in it. It's got this odd stiffness to it and no drape in working with it, but I've used Hawthorne repeatedly before, and I know that's not how it is after washing. So this will get soaked and blocked, and we'll have a little bit more give and drape through the bust area. I am making note, though, of the things that I said I would do differently. I do kind of want to make this again. I dropped this on here just so I could try it on and not lose my loop again. But I'm very happy. I still love the way this looks. I will, by the end of the weekend, definitely be putting in the 4th ball of yarn. And we will see how far I decide to take that. But there is, once I finish the length I want it to be, there's like a 3-row border on the end. Once again, this is the Rosy Tee, and this is by Two Brothers Blanket. There will be a link in the description box down below for this, as well as my C2C join and my C2C basic square tutorial, quickie tutorial. I'll talk about these first, and then Carrie did a stupid. We'll talk about Carrie did a stupid last. Carrie does lots of stupids, but Carrie did a masochistic stupid, and now I'm wondering, like, I literally walked up to one of my neighbors and said, I did a stupid that you will appreciate. She's a quilter, so she would definitely appreciate it. Carrie's stupid. I got back down here to crank out some things on the Addi. And once again, like, I have the 22 pin machine, but I'm really just enjoying what I'm making off the king. Like, everything I want to make seems to be geared towards the king. That's not intentional. That's not a thing I did on purpose. That just is how it's happened. If you'll remember, maybe not, it's been a while. When I was doing my pastel blanket, I made this tube thinking, okay, well, this will be something to break it up. But it really didn't work because it was the only non-straight solid, true solid that I had made. So this is a 300 row tube. I ended up cinching it shut and turning it into a little scarf. And this is using Universal Yarns Uptown Worsted. So it's kind of like anti-pilling. I do have an affiliate link for Premier down below. Premier's website will take you to the Universal website as well. But since I had made this scarf, the scarf needed a hat. And this one I did remember to really keep my tension loose. So it does very much fit my head. I may or may not keep this set. I don't know. I make no promises. Because my box of hats and scarves is already getting very full. I've got to figure out where I'm going to start sending these things off because my donation box is getting very full. That's not a flex. That's actually going to be problematic by the time I'm done with this Taming the Stash this year. And it's okay. I'm all right with that. But I also, like, my drawer of hats and scarves is very full right now too. So, I made a hat to match the scarf. The scarf's been sitting upstairs waiting for its mate. I still need to make the mate to the scarf I know I'm keeping, which is the red and black fingering weight marl 3 together that didn't work in the blanket. I haven't forgotten. I'm still putting that blanket together. It's either 40 degrees here or it's 80 degrees here. There's no zone in between. So, like, having the wherewithal to is a little difficult sometimes. when you're working on blankets. And I'm working on other blankets too. So anyway, I had some more of the yarn left. I made a cowl with a little matching ear warmer. So this is using the W, it's a tighter knot. So this is the W style knot. And on this ear warmer, I used a C style knot. So you can tell, like, it does make a big difference in the size of what your knot looks like. I like both ways. When it's truly cold, I actually prefer my C knots. When it's chilly, but not freezing, I like these. And it's just how they sit on my head. They pull a little bit differently. I like them both. I don't think it makes a huge... on the hat, I did use the X or box closure on that again. I don't have a tutorial on that. There are tutorials. If you look up box closure or X closure for an Addi knit hat, it does pop up. That's how I found it. But there's a lot of tutorials out there for it, and they're all kind of the same. So that's what I haven't really, if you're wanting to do that closure on a hat, I haven't really wanted to make a tutorial. Like, I haven't had time to do one, but anyway. Obviously, I made this ear warmer. This is using some Premier Basics that was left over. This was left over from the pastel blanket. This was left over from another... I had this shade of gray left over from doing a blanket, and I've been incorporating it into other projects, and I finally finished that off completely now. I did take all my basics, and any of the ones that I only had one left, those are the ones that I've already pulled into the Taming the Stash piles. I am hoping we're going to have some kind of update with that, even just a check-in at the end of the month. We'll see what happens with what I get done on the Addi, because that's really the pushing through of stuff, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about. So we have this ear warmer. Once again, we have another C closure. This is some I Love This yarn, and once again, that same Premier Basics. Both of these headbands have cowls or scarves upstairs. I just haven't finished them yet. So that's why these are here. I have two pieces upstairs that I know I need to weave in the ends on that I had shown you guys and was like, oh, for some reason I didn't close these. I can't remember what they are, but I have an unfinished hat here, or a finished hat here, that didn't have a scarf mate. So I made a hat, and I made a cowl, and then I made a bicolor cowl to go with the hat that I had waiting for a partner. A lot of the charities down here don't require hat and scarf sets, but I do know a lot of the places I have sent off prefer hats and cowl, or hats and scarf, hat and cowl sets. So down here, it's just, there aren't that many that cold days. So they don't generally mind one or the other in the adult sizes. Now for kids, there is a preference for hat and scarf sets. So it all depends. If you are looking to do a whole bunch of donation things like this, make sure you check with the charities you're planning on donating with, what they actually want and can use, because you don't want to take down a whole bunch of stuff that is just going to take up space for them that they can't actually use. So in doing these Addi King projects, one of the things I've noticed is I have super long tails. I would love to say I'm going to be that person that's going to save my tails to make things with, and that's not going to happen. I'm not that person. I am all for reduce, reuse, recycle as much as possible. But even I have my limits, and saving my little yarn tails for eventual, maybe one day polyfill, I've tried saving it. I've ended up with buckets of it and ended up throwing it away, especially when it's like these acrylic yarns, because they're not good for things like building bird nests. They don't breathe. The fibers will attract mold and mildew. So it's not something you can put out for like bird nest building materials. Acrylic yarn's not good for that. I don't make enough amigurumis or do enough restuffing things that's something I'm going to use. And most of these pieces tend to be very small for a lot of my projects. The exception being these Addi projects. Because I don't know as I'm making these how I'm going to close these, I do a 3 time around the machine, bind on and bind off. So I have all this extra tail if I decide to sew pieces together, if I'm going to do something different than what I think I'm going to do. Some of these use zippering the 2 sides together, the knit loops. Other methods, you need a tail to slip stitch around. So depending on what I'm doing, I don't know project to project what that's going to be. So I do extra long tails on all these. And for some reason, in doing these, after I finish the pale blue stuff, my masochist butt decided I'm going to make 1x1 granny squares. At least I had the wherewithal to do these as a join as you go. And not, I'm going to sew these together. So I don't know how far this is going to get. I don't know if this is going to be a little coverlet or just a pillowcase cover or what's going to end up happening with this. But you can obviously see what my Addi projects were based on the colors that are here. So we do have more purple coming up. We have the pink, we have the gray, we have the bubblegum colors. I am, other than the 2 that I added in this morning, I've got my ends woven in. I am weaving it in. So I'm taking about 3 pieces, finishing them off, doing their squares and sewing everything together kind of all as one. So actually the scarf that goes to the purple set was the last thing I did this morning before I left for my walk. So anyway, I literally, my neighbor's a quilter and I walked up to her and I'm like, I'm an idiot. I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know why. I've got a friend who does yo-yo quilts. She'll just be like, I just couldn't get rid of these. And she'll have all these tiny little yo-yos of fabric that she ends up hand sewing together. And she's like, why did I do this to myself? She has discovered though, while she still hand makes the yo-yo itself, that she can use the tack on her sewing machine to sew the yo-yos together. So she'll do a double bar tacks to sew them together. So at least like she can sit down with like a bucket of 100 of them and tack them together. But why do we do this to ourselves? Like, why is this something we think this is a good idea? This is how I want to spend the rest of my life. And I just felt bad because I would have, you know, like a yard left over. Like that's enough to do. So it wasn't enough for like these projects, but it's enough to obviously make 1-inch granny squares with. So I'm making a 1-inch granny square project. Like I said, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know what this is going to end up looking like, but what's wrong with me? Why did I decide this was why? I know better than this. I know better than this. And a rant. But I did want to share Carrie's an idiot or masochist, depending on how you want to look at it. That's a yay. So quick reminder before we get into the pet tax and stuff. And there's some, I think some wildlife pictures, excuse me, from my walks this last week. But Spook Your Spring Make Along still going on. We still have a couple more days left to go. So get your entries in. You can shoot me an email, send me a PM on Instagram, or in the Facebook group. There is a post for you to put your finished projects. Let me see your finished projects. I do have some things that I would like to share with people. I have a bin of goodies over here that I would like to share with some of you guys. I'm going to do a random drawing of some form after the 31st so we can, and I want to share everybody's project. So check out the video that has all the information about that. I'll put it in the iCard and try to remember to put it in the description box too. Check out the video. If you want to crank out some stuff for the spooky season a little bit early, you know, there's all the Christmas and July stuff. So we're spooking our spring in May. I know it doesn't make much sense, but I like spooky stuffs. Nothing else back here spooky, but I do have Halloween. This was a gift from my husband. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful, fantastic day. I love you as always. I will see you real soon. Actually, I will see you on Saturday because we will have this Annie's thing. Take care, you guys. Love you. And of course, my clicker